What's up, everybody? I'm Tony Rocky Horror.
I'm fucked up.
And we would like to re-welcome you back to another installment of cinemaeulogies. We'd like to thank everybody who's stuck by us, which probably isn't anybody.
By now.
Yeah, we'd like to thank everybody who's made doing this much fucking harder. And,
our little thing to bring us back in here, we'll probably throw some old stuff that we had pre-recorded, but our little thing to bring us back in here is we felt very strongly about one particular film that we had both gone to the theaters to see. We didn't watch the shitty dark black bootleg that's been going around. We went to the theaters to see this film, and that would be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, or H2, whatever you want to call it. Now, I want to open this up with a quote that's from the beginning of the film. When the film first starts, which it seems a lot of people just didn't pay attention to, and you need to go back to the theater if you didn't understand any of this. I'm going to read the quote, and hopefully this will help you understand. Now, what it said on the screen was, "White horse," in bold. Now the meaning: linked to instinct, purity, and the drive of the physical body to release powerful and emotional forces, like rage with ensuing chaos and destruction. And that is an excerpt from The Subconscious Psychosis of Dreams.
That's right there. Shit.
That right there, it pretty much explains everything that everybody's been complaining about.
Or H2 was sponsored by Roy Rogers.
That can make sense. Yeah.
I'd be pretty sweet considering he's got good fried chicken.
Yeah, I like curly fries.
Curly fries.
But
you know, had you read that and gave it the least bit of thought, I mean, we've seen coming attractions. You know, we've seen Sherry Moon Zombie's face plastered all over the internet, like red X's across her.
Yeah, you're thinking, why is she in the movie?
Why is she in the movie? Well, you know, this pretty much...
It tells you.
And if you just kept this statement in mind, you could pretty much follow the rest of the movie and you could understand why they appeared when they did. Right. You know, basically guiding him to his ultimate goal, which is Laurie Strode.
Well, when we first walked out of the theater, I even said that you know, like, are people brainless? And not to say that all you guys are brainless, because we're fairly brainless too. But what was I saying? But anyway, when we walked out of the theater, I said to myself, I said to you guys and to myself, I'm like, well, you know, how are people bashing these scenes with Sherry Moon, the horse, and young Michael Myers?
Well, let me say this. I do think that this movie was doomed from the start, simply because it was a sequel to a remake with Sherry Moon Zombie in it. I don't think Rob Zombie stood a chance in most people's minds.
He's really, well, I mean, being the fact that he, and I know what you're getting at, is Sherry Moon, she really is not, she's not up there. She's no, you know,
Sharon
she's no Willem Dafoe.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You look at it.
Well, he looked pretty good in drag, but that's aside from the point. You know, her acting is a little horrendous, and I can understand how people may not like that aspect of it. But overall, as a whole, what are you gonna do? You're gonna use they already had to use a different kid because the kid was too old. So the
kid was just as bad as Sherry Moon Zombie,
if not worse.
Yeah.
I mean, but these were elements that were needed. Sherry Moon was needed because she was the mother in the first one. She's obviously still around. She still looks the same, so she's going to play her role again.
No, you know,
but this time in his mind.
And you know, I don't have a problem with that concept. I thought it was a great concept. I just think he could have picked better actors to deliver it. I mean, you know,
to begin with, we're not even in the first Halloween.
But you know, we're a far step away from your mom and pop underground small films.
Right.
You know, now we're talking the Weinstein brothers. You know what I mean? And I think one of Rob Zombie's Achilles' heels is the fact that not only do I think he's got a kind of like a handicap in writing good dialogue, I think he's hiring shitty actors to convey it. And I think that stops his movies from becoming spectacular.
Well,
They're great, but they're not spectacular.
Shitty actors to an extent. I mean, then you've
To an
got
extent.
Malcolm McDowell.
Oh,
which,
I mean, yeah, that's
which brings me to Brad Dourif. But speaking of Malcolm
who
McDowell,
are great, by the way.
Yeah,
Fucking
they were
awesome
both of them.
performances.
Yeah, they
If
were
you're
awesome.
If you're a fan, you definitely need to see it.
And I'm glad that they gave Brad Dourif a bigger role in this
Finally
film.
fucking
That was,
deserves it,
yeah,
yeah.
like I mean, aside from just being the voice of Chucky all the time,
And his
he-
last big role besides that was
Lord of-
Exorcist 3.
No, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
It was kinda.
Yeah.
But this will bring me to Malcolm McDowell's role as Loomis. I felt that I liked. A lot of people complained about he was a cocky prick in this movie. Why is Loomis a cocky? That's Loomis, though. See, in Rob Zombie's revisioning of the first Halloween, his remake or revision, whatever you want to call it, Loomis was a nice guy. But in this one, he brought him back more well, not quite. I mean, it was a little bit more extreme because he was like, famous and everything like that. A famous doctor. He had an agent. He's, loaded with money. So he's
It's
just
human
a cop.
nature.
Right.
Yeah.
But, even in the original series, the original, up through 5 where Loomis was still able to be in the films. He was a cocky man.
Now we're talking about
In the original. So, I mean, this one still brought that. This one brought back that cockiness to Loomis, whereas the first, Rob Zombie's first one, didn't have that cockiness.
I liked where he was looking to take the character. It's understandable. He was involved in, according to the movie, like one of the worst, mass serial killings of all time. And, we're dealing with this entity, Michael Myers.
Right.
So he gets wrapped up, and he becomes really famous, and becomes wrapped up as as a famous author. So he gets he gets eaten up in the spotlight, and he becomes this other person. I love the concept. I just don't think. And it's Rob Zombie's fault as a director. I don't know if he conveys those properly. I thought Malcolm McDowell was a little over the top. I don't think it was his fault.
No,
I think it was just where he took the character.
All right, here's something. I mean, because this is another point we're going to get at. That I'll get at in a minute. Do you think the fact that Rob Zombie did not want to make a sequel made certain aspects of this one the way they were? Like, look at the first one. Look how hard they searched for a kid to be perfect for Michael Myers, and they found Daig, and he was just outstanding. That kid was more disturbing than grown Michael Myers.
Oh yeah, no.
He was fantastic.
He was perfect. He hammered it home.
But do you think that it was the lack of interest in wanting to make a sequel to the film that maybe it's shown through to people more so than others?
No, because if that's the case, shame on Rob Zombie for getting into a project
That's what I was
as
getting at.
half-hearted as he did.
That's what I was getting at.
If that's the case, you can make the argument for that, yeah. And that's kind of unfortunate.
But it's something to ponder.
Absolutely.
It is. Maybe he just said
Wait.
well.
I'm pondering. Go ahead.
Okay, that's leading me into what I wanted to mention is that to let you guys know, if you don't know already, I pondered another.
Back ponder.
Oh, gotcha. But Rob originally Halloween, his remake of Halloween was supposed to be one movie, and that was it. Michael was gonna die. He was gonna end Halloween for good. That's what he was out to do. Was Michael Myers is human. He gets shot in the head, which I'll get into this in a second. He gets shot in the head at the end of the film, and that was supposed to be it. The Weinstein Company and the powers that be decided that they were gonna make a sequel. They have to. It's inevitable. They have to make a sequel, just like they're going to do with all the remakes coming out now. They did it with Hills Have Eyes,
Right.
Texas Chainsaw. They made a prequel. So it's a lot of things were going around. From what I read and the research I did was that they were reading through a lot of a lot of scripts, and Rob Zombie caught wind of some of the ideas and stuff like that, and said, you know what, if anybody's going to do it, if you're thinking a guy's going to do it anyway, if anybody's going to do it, let it be me.